This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. Ahead of an 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time game start against the Calgary Flames in Calgary, which means this guy right here, residing down here in southern Alberta, will be at the Saddledome celebrating a ball teammate's birthday, I believe. And then, of course, secondary to that, celebrating the fact of this is a pivotal game. Let's just quickly go over the standings and let me brief you on what this game means for the Pacific Division and for the Oilers, who sit with 46 games played, a record of 24, 17, and 5, which is exactly identical to the 24, 17, and 5 in 46 games played Calgary Flames. Now, this isn't going to be your traditional game preview. This is going to take a little bit of a tangent and detour at about the fork in the road, if you get where I'm going. But for the Oilers, 4-0-1 in our last 5 since that defeat against Calgary 5-1 December 27th. Now, for Calgary, they're 4-1 in their last 5. I couldn't really tell you too much about their schedule, but I assume it's similar to ours, being the fact that they played on New Year's Eve against the Chicago Blackhawks and lost. So we've been right neck and neck, win this, lose that, win this, tie this, whatever you want to say. And that boils us down to a big game at the Saddledome tonight and a big 4 games left on the schedule between these two teams this season. Now, I wanted to do this video prior to the Battle of Alberta on December 27th. However, I did not get around to it because who the heck knows what I was doing around Christmas time. That said, it's as simple as this for us as Oilers fans and us as hockey fans, is the simple fact of the Battle of Alberta may very well be that separation that is needed for either Calgary or Edmonton to make the playoffs. Obviously, we'd be talking probably more a top 3 spot than a wild card spot, but it could very well be the difference between the Oilers not making it and the Flames making it, or the Oilers making it and the Flames not making it. And why I say that is these are 8 points in the standings, kind of disregarding overtime right now because you really don't want to see that between these two teams. Yes, you do. Yes, you don't kind of deal. But for the Oilers, this could be a big go, right? 8 points. You get, even if you can get, say, a series win, so 3 out of the 5, right? So you lose that first one December 27th against Calgary. You lose one more this season against Calgary, but you win the other 3. You've got the decisive edge. You've got 2 more points out of your matchups than you do for the Flames. So, okay, that doesn't sound like great. Oh my goodness, that's going to change the standings, because it's probably not. In that situation, it's really probably a 3-4, 2-3, both wildcard spots, whatever you want to say, for the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. But if the Oilers or the Flames come out of this season series with a 4-1 edge, either team, right? Maybe Calgary comes out with a 5-0 edge, but I'd like to see a 4-1 edge, because that means the Oilers have a shot at having that edge after losing that first one against the Flames at home December 27th. So for the Oilers, the key here is to just simply win in regulation, and get the job done against Calgary, because you do that, that's an extra 8 points in the standings. That's 8 points in the standings Calgary doesn't have. So imagine that right now. If you played all 4 games back to back to back to back right now, go from game 46 to 50 against the Flames, that would be a separation of 61 points to 53 points in the standings. That's a long ways to go with only 32 games left on the schedule if both teams keep the current pace they are on right now. So that's where I'll kind of turn it over to this power rankings guru. I don't know how to read this, but we're going to try and read this. It's this NHL strength of schedule remaining. It ranks showing the average difficulty of opponents each team will face for the rest of the season. So it ranks from hardest to easiest. And the way it goes here is, I will tell you, Calgary ranks as the 27th hardest schedule, so that means they are the 5th easiest schedule remaining based on today's standings on how far they have to go to make the playoffs kind of deal. So Calgary's got the 27th easiest schedule. We've got the 13th hardest. So we're in the top half of the league when it comes to the hardest schedule. Now, obviously, here you go. What does that at all actually mean for the Oilers? Because the question would be, well, technically it hasn't been the hard opponents that have been our difficulty, right? Like opponents like Boston, Toronto, for example, these past couple of games, those guys really weren't like they didn't cost us losses because we knew what we were doing and we got our poop in a group and won a hockey game. Same thing as Montreal, I guess you could say about Montreal. That's the game that hurts us. That's the game. That's the scary one. That's the one that kind of flips this whole power rankings thing, strength of schedule thing on its head because look at it this way, right? Is you win against those teams like Boston and Toronto and you're dominant and you're doing all the good things, no problem, no matter what. And then all of a sudden you run into Montreal and save for a couple of things, that game could have been a totally different outcome in a game that already this season we've probably lost 6 or 7 of. And that's exactly where it gets hilarious, is because it's not that the Oilers are going to lose the chance at the playoffs because they fail against stronger teams, and that's where I really like the fact that all you have to do is get into the playoffs, is because the Oilers actually struggle against the lesser teams, the weaker teams, the teams below them in the standings, right? Obviously, for most of the year when we were playing from a point of strength and first in the division, of course, everybody's below you, everybody's chasing you. Sure, okay, fine, dandy, great, yeah, it makes sense, but you get where I'm going with the fact that we've been playing down, we've been being beat by the lesser competition throughout this season. Now that's maybe always been a historically Oilers thing to do, but still tough to watch, tough to see, tough to do. So for the Oilers and Flames, back to the reason this is so pivotal is because you look at it this way, right? Is part of those strengths of schedules is the fact maybe realistically the Oilers are a harder part of the Flames schedule than pretty much anything else they will face the rest of the way home. And for us, similar thing for Calgary in the opponent's column. So you go break some more numbers down here. If the Oilers can win 4-1 tonight, the Oilers will have a positive goal differential for the first time in a long while. They would have 5-1, pardon me. 5-1 would get us to 146 and 145. So that's goals for, 2 goals against. The Oilers are 10-8-3 at home. Pardon me? We have documented big time struggles at home this season. But yeah, we've got a positive record at home. Don't you worry, we've got a positive record at home. And then on the road, we're 14-9-2. Okay, so alright, this is where you can kind of build the back and forth that is the Battle of Alberta, go up and down the QE2 how many ever times you'd like and see which favors which. But tonight a chance to kind of keep these numbers going a little bit as Calgary's 12-7-3 at home, 12-10-2 on the road, while we can make Calgary 12-8-3 on home ice. That would improve us to 15-9-2 on the road, and that would give us that 2-point separation over top of Calgary. Now what that also does is the Vegas Golden Knights. They're in action tonight. Arizona, the Coyotes are idle tonight, so that means there's a wide open shot at the top of the division tonight in this Calgary Edmonton game, depending on the outcome of Vegas, because if the Oilers can win or the Flames can win, whatever ends up happening here tonight, and the Vegas Golden Knights lose, that team that wins between the Oilers and Flames goes into first in the Pacific Division, because we'd have 55 as long as Vegas loses in regulation. There you go, bing bang boom, you've got 55 points to Arizona and Vegas's 54. Now ideally that would be the Oilers getting back into that situation tonight and getting the job done against the Calgary Flames on the road to close out what can only be described as a very successful road trip no matter what, because at worst, ladies and gentlemen, the Edmonton Oilers will finish today's road trip, this week's road trip, whatever, the road trip to begin 2020 at a record of 3-1-1. Now I will tell you, if we do a stretch every 5 games we go 3-1-1, we're in the top of the division by a wide margin by the end of game 82. So this is going to be an exciting go for the Edmonton Oilers tonight against the Calgary Flames. I hope I explained what it all kind of means for both teams and what this Battle of Alberta this season could really boil it down to. It's a matter of one team might make it, one team might not, and it comes down to 4 games remaining, which starts tonight, an 8 o'clock puck drop at the Saddledome. I'll be there. I hope to see you guys there as well. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I will catch you in the next one.